Good morning. I'm Tracy Blakeney. I use she, they pronouns, and I'd like to welcome you to Bucksmont Unitarian Universalist Fellowship's multi-platform worship, where, moved by love, we share lifelong journeys of growth, wonder, and healing, nurturing wholeness in society and spirit, creating a community of justice and compassion. I'd like to give a welcome to everyone joining us online and in person today, members, friends, and those who may be newcomers to our community. As we begin our service, please take a moment to silence your cell phones. Thank you. If you are new to Bucksmont and visiting us in person, please stop by our visitor center in the front hallway near where you came in. There you can make a name tag for yourself and find more information about Unitarian Universalism, Bucksmont Fellowship, and upcoming events. If you'd like a hymnal or printed order of service, they are available near the entrance to the sanctuary. If you are visiting us online or prefer digital methods, please email our office administrator, Beverly, to sign up for our email newsletter and to get connected to our congregation. You may also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at bucksmontuu.org. Each week in our service, we offer time for people to share a joy or sorrow from their lives by texting a phone number. That number is shared on screen now and will be again later in the service. It is also listed in the order of service. If you would like to see the order of service, details about upcoming services, and other ways to gather with our community, you can, again, find that on the homepage of our website, bucksmontuu.org. There is a lot happening at Bucksmont, and we'd like to highlight these announcements in particular. Today's flowers are in memory of Tracy Mulligan, dear daughter of John and Betty Shepard. We lost her to breast cancer in December. Otherwise, she would be with us celebrating her 53rd birthday. The teens in the Social Justice Club are organizing a book drive to benefit Little Free Libraries everywhere and to combat illiteracy. Please bring in your books to be donated on or before October 6th in the social hall. Also, while you are there, don't forget to vote to name our jet pig. And if you don't know what that is, please ask a youth during the social hour. Today, after the service, Reverend Kevin and folks from the membership committee will hold our monthly You and You session, where you can learn more about our congregation, Unitarian Universalism, and what it means to become a member of our community. We will begin at noon today in the library. UU Climate Justice Revival Workshop on November 10th and 24th. This two-part workshop is based on the understanding that climate justice is more than environmental justice. It's racial, gender, disability, immigration, and economic justice. Join our Peace and Justice Committee to envision a climate-just world and design our individual and collective steps toward a climate-just future. Look for the sign-up soon in the e-voice. Whether you are a guest, friend, or member, we are glad you are part of our worship service today.
As we gather in our sanctuary, in our homes, or watch from mobile screens almost anywhere, we are all together. Those watching now on Sunday and those who may be watching months from now, we are joined together for worship across both space and time. This is a free, creedless religious congregation in the discipline of truth and the spirit of universal kinship. We join together in a cooperative quest for religious and ethical values, seeking to apply these values to the development of character, enrichment of the spirit, and service to all. You are welcome here. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever the color of your skin or your country of origin, no matter your gender expression or gender identity, whatever your age, however you define family, wherever you are at this time, and whatever the source of your faith, you are welcome here.
This morning, as we do each time we gather, we kindle our Unitarian Universalist chalice. We do so today with words from Joan Javier Duval. You are beloved and you are welcome here.
Whether tears have fallen from your eyes this past week or gleeful laughter has spilled out of your smiling mouth,
you are beloved and you are welcome here.
whether you are feeling brave or brokenhearted, defiant or defeated, fearsome or fearful,
you are beloved and you are welcome here.
whether you have untold stories buried deep inside or stories that have been forced beyond the edges of comfort,
You are beloved and you are welcome here.
whether you have made promises, broken promises, or are renewing your promises,
You are beloved and you are welcome here.
whatever is on your heart, however it is with your soul in this moment,
You are beloved and you are welcome here.
in this space of welcome and acceptance, commitment and recommitment, of covenant and connection, let us worship together.
Please light your chalice at home. Our common chalice is now lit. Momentarily.
Hi, my name is Bob Chalmers. I use he, him pronouns. Please rise in body or spirit to sing our opening hymn, number 360, Here We Have Gathered.
Gathered side by side, circle of kinship, come and step inside. May all who seek here find a kindly word. May all who speak here feel they have been heard. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Here we have gathered, called to celebrate days of our lifetime, matter small and great. We all the ages, women, children, men, infants and sages, sharing what we can. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Life has its battles, sorrows and regret, but in the shadows let us not forget. We who now gather know each other's pain. Kindness can heal us. As we give, we gain. Sing now in friendship this our heart's own song.
All right, everyone come on up. It's time for all ages. So while we're getting settled, this is my bad. I was supposed to be giving these out this morning. They're bookmarks for our teens to help us remember about the book drive. So I'll be handing them out at the end of service, but also just grab one. We're all capable adults, right? So we're going to grab a bookmark and remember to bring in books so the teens have some books for their book drive. So thank you. All right, who would like to open the Wonder Box today? How about Kai? Cam, I'm sorry. Sorry. Here. You gotta use this handle. And lift it up. Yeah. We'll see what's inside in just a second. There you go. And now lift the cover up. Oh, what's in there? Legos! Yes, that's okay. So, before we get totally started in this is a bucket of Legos. And together, everyone up here is going to help put something on our creation, okay? And we're going to talk about this, and maybe we'll see it again. So, can we start adding to this? Grab some pieces and pick it up. Yeah, they are Legos, and we're going to put a piece on and pass it to a friend. We're going to create something all together, because that's a really big part of being part of Bucksmont, isn't it? We all bring something special. And maybe it's really little some days, and maybe it's really big other days, and maybe some days it's just one little square. You can work on that. We're going to create something all together. And we all, that's okay. You guys can create something pretty cool, okay? Amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Nate. He has quite an idea of something amazing he's going to build. So, this is a really important part of being part of Bucksmont. We all are little pieces, and together we build up to create something amazing here. So that's what our kids are working on today. They're going to build something amazing. And what should we do with it once it's all done? Maybe we can rebuild it. I bet at home you build with Legos and rebuild with Legos all the time, right? What else can we do with it? Should we keep our creation safe? Yeah. Should we promise to take care of it? Yeah, what is a promise?
Promise is like something that you promise to do.
Okay, so Leota says a promise that is something you do, and she's kind of right. Promise is a hard word to define. So anyone else have suggestions or thoughts about what is a promise? Go ahead.
A promise is sort of like something that you promise to do and you want to do it, so you do it like maybe a promise would be like a promise of taking care of something.
Yeah, so a promise is when you say you're going to do something. Nate, you had something you wanted to add? What did you want to add?
Something that you would want to do, and I think you would want to do it.
Yeah, it's something that you say you're going to do, and then you either want to do it, but you promise to do it, so you do it. Yeah. So, we are going to promise to take care of our Lego creation. Are we almost done, guys? Maybe one more minute, all right? And we will promise to take care of it because it represents our community and it's important for us. Does that make sense? Yeah? All right. So do we have our final creation? I see a lot of pieces. Can we put them together? Here. Or I can put it together into something beautiful and we will check that out next week, okay? So let's put our finished pieces in the box and let's head downstairs.
As you go on your way, may you be filled with gladness. Go enjoy, go enjoy. May fortune bless your day with peace and love and kindness. Go in love, go in love. As you go on your way, may you be filled with gladness. Go enjoy, go enjoy. May fortune bless your day with peace and love and kindness. Go in love, go in love.
Legos sure are popular.
They evoke big emotion.
Yes. The offering in liberal religion is a vital part of our history of faith. As a covenanted community, people who freely choose to be here, our voluntary giving is symbolic of that freedom of choice. Each week at Bucksmont, we share our offering with a different cause or organization in the community. For the month of September, we are sharing with Penn Environment Research and Policy Center. Penn Environment Research and Policy Center advocates for clean water to drink and clean air to breathe. Healthy lakes, rivers, and forests, sources of energy that don't pollute and never run out. All this should be the heritage we leave for future generations. Their staff research the issues, educate the public, and win tangible results for a greener future. Penn Environment does research that helps understand the problems that need to be solved. They provide education for everyday Pennsylvanians and the decision makers who direct our nation's future. Together, they are advancing policies and practices that put our country and the planet on a better path. We ask that you participate in our morning offering in one of these ways. You can write out a check to Bucksmont and mail it into the fellowship. You may donate online now or at the end of the service, or you may place your donation into one of the baskets that are passed. We will now receive the morning offering. Our community continues to grow and thrive due to the generous donations of both time and money that you provide, for the many ways that you contribute and how it sustains this fellowship. We are truly grateful. This morning's reading is Promises, Promises by David S. Blanchard. There is a fellow who shares my surname, yet with whom I have no relation, who has made a fortune writing books that are pitched as guides to success in any number of fields. It all started with a volume entitled The 1 Minute Manager. It's been a bestseller and has spawned several sequels that have made the other Mr. Blanchard a millionaire. I've been contemplating a book called The 1 Minute Marriage, not to describe failed relationships, but offering a nifty program to marital bliss through 60-second solutions. I know there is a market, but I have only been able to think of one thing that could be confined to the current cultural attention span of a minute. Just one, and that's if I talk fast. There are some weighty obstacles. For one, in a marriage, unlike the world of business and management, you cannot delegate the hard work. You have to do it yourselves. And second, the key elements to happiness in any relationship are always changing. Today, we need a great sense of humor. Tomorrow, what's required is forgiveness. The day after that, it may be a spirit of playfulness, and on and on. At weddings, I often feel couples expect me to offer some sage advice that will enrich their marriage. The fact is, I haven't a clue what it is they'll need. Most of the time, I'm not so sure what I need in my most intimate relationships. I often leave my counselor to do this, to do more than simply keep the promises made in your vows. Do something more. Keep promising. As time passes, keep promising new things, deeper things, vaster things, yet unimagined things, promises that will be needed to fill the expanses of time and of love. To keep promising, you won't need a license, you won't need witnesses, you won't need a minister. You will only need what you already have, each other. Keep promising.
Each week in our worship, we do a few things over and over again. You might call them habits, rituals, or important practices that remind us who we are and signal to newcomers what we value if we do it each time we gather. We light a chalice, we sing, we center the youngest members of our community, and we share our statement of purpose, which some years ago I moved into our call to worship. The words are, "This is a free, creedless, religious congregation. In the discipline of truth and the spirit of universal kinship, we join together in a cooperative quest for religious and ethical values, seeking to apply these values to the development of character, enrichment of the spirit, and service to all." Over the past 6 years, we've changed quite a bit about how our Sunday morning services are structured. When I've made changes, there are always some who like the changes and some who do not. But the one change I made early in my time at Bucksmont that was met with near universal disagreement was dropping this statement of purpose from being shared each week in worship. To me, that means it is deeply important to who we are as a community. People noticed when it wasn't shared. In particular, it highlights something that makes this congregation different from many other religious communities. We are a creedless religious congregation. In most Christian communities, they recite a creed each week, a statement of beliefs that the tradition says one must believe and profess in order to be members of that tradition. Creeds were also needed in the early church because there were differences of opinion among clergy and differences in teaching about things like the nature of Jesus, his relationship to God, and the nature of the Trinity, or even if the Trinity should be taught at all. Differences in theology threatened the cohesion of the early church, so councils of bishops were gathered to come to agreement on what the correct teaching or orthodoxy would be. The most public effect of this on worship life eventually became the reciting of a creed or sometimes multiple creeds during the course of worship and ritual life. Here is a translation of the Nicene Creed from the year 325, when the First Council of Nicaea was gathered to answer some of these thorny issues. We believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of all things visible and invisible, and in one Lord Jesus Christ, the Son of God, begotten of the Father, light of light, very God of very God, begotten, not made, consubstantial with the Father, by whom all things were made, who for us men and for our salvation came down and was incarnate and was made man. He suffered, and the third day he rose again, ascended into heaven. From thence he shall come to judge the quick and the dead, and in the Holy Ghost. Amen. Now, this wasn't the creed I was raised reciting in a Lutheran Protestant community, but it might have been in yours. For some, those words are precious. For some, they might be triggering. But for many, they are built into your bones over those weeks of reciting it. This creed set out the basic tenets of Christianity. One God, not multiple, though manifest in a Trinity. Jesus was the Son of God, but also consubstantial. Or said another way, the three aspects of God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit are of one essence or substance. So you can still be monotheistic and have the three aspects of the triune God. This was a major challenge in the church to come to some agreement on this fact. Jesus became human for humanity's salvation, was resurrected and returned to heaven, and one day shall judge all. There were and still are major debates within Christianity over many of these tenets. This is one reason why there are so many different Christian traditions today. But back to us. Unitarian Universalists decided to go a different way. Both our Unitarian and Universalist ancestors thought of themselves as Christian traditions, though with some important differences. Rather than a statement of belief, a creed, being the litmus test for whether someone belonged to our tradition, we decided to become creedless, to not have one set of beliefs about the divine be what ties us together. We became covenantal over time. A covenant is a set of promises about how we will be with one another, what we will do and what we won't do, and what we will center as our work to do in this world. My mentor and colleague, the Reverend Kendall Gibbons, writes about it this way. Our communities of memory and promise are founded upon covenants because we all need a defense against the impulse of immediate feelings that challenge our best intentions. It is necessary to be reminded from time to time of what you said you were going to do and what you really want, over and above the lure of momentary comfort. Covenant is our word for the solemn promises that counteract the randomness of a future in which anything and everything is possible. By committing us in advance to certain relationships and values, we do this because what we build with intention and even with difficulty is more satisfying in the long run than the pleasures that we happen to encounter. We do it in time-consuming rituals invoking powers that we scarcely know how to name, because we are seeking some way to give our lives the density and dignity and depth that we suspect with longing might yet be possible. In fact, we have our own covenant here at Bucksmont called the Covenant of Right Relations, which goes like this. We come to this fellowship in pursuit of a community of love, strength, and support that is larger than ourselves. In this spirit, we covenant to provide a safe and inclusive space for the social and spiritual needs of our diverse members, honoring different perspectives, abilities, and cultural identities. Honor our obligation to volunteer as we are able, and give of ourselves in support of each other and our fellowship. Recognize, acknowledge, and actively appreciate our gifts to one another, accepting our imperfections and limitations. Support and nurture each other in our community, taking responsibility to ask for what we need. Listen and speak actively, respectfully, and with caring and open minds, sharing our individual truths as a means to reach better understanding. Speak honestly and directly to those with whom we have issues, especially in times of conflict or disagreement. Focus foremost on problem solving rather than blame, seeking the best resolutions for all involved, including our fellowship as a whole. We join in this covenant to grow and sustain a healthy and loving fellowship. This is the statement that folks are signing up to support when they become members of our community. This isn't the entirety of the work or a statement of our beliefs about life's big questions. Instead, it is a set of promises about how we will treat one another and work together in community, making this a community of both promise and practice. At Bucksmont, we practice how to bring all the parts of ourselves here into this place, where the primary overlap between us is that we are Unitarian Universalists, or at least considering we might be. Many of the other words we use to describe ourselves can be different, but our religious conviction is that together we can help one another, seek truth, and be together in peace through two simple things, love and service. Here we practice that when we participate both online and in person on Sundays, as well as throughout the week at meetings, rehearsals, and events. Our creation of a sanctuary, a religious space, to practice what it means to live into covenant over and over again, stretches to the other circles we exist within, our families, our jobs, and our involvement in the larger communities in which we live. We show up to each of these circles as people who practice covenant, people who practice intentional relationships. When we vote, when we shop, we carry pieces of this congregation with us into the world. We come back here to remember that and to try again. Because as our reading set out, one of the two important things about intimate and intentional relationships, whether they be to a spouse or our children or trusted friends or the communities to which we belong, is that you cannot delegate the hard work. You have to do it yourselves. There is no one else who can practice these relationships of promise for us. Others can give advice or perspective or ideas about how to approach a situation differently, but they cannot do the actual relationship building for you. Practicing in a community can help remind us what we are aiming for. Here in this sanctuary we call Bucksmont Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, we create this place of practice and promise together. A place that is not a home alone in the woods. It literally now stretches into homes far from each other through our virtual connections, and it ripples beyond each of our homes through the relationships we create throughout our lives. This place is part of a neighborhood, part of an interdependent community made up of other UU congregations, other religious communities, secular organizations, and businesses that make up that larger web we call society. Last week, I spoke about our reimagined Unitarian Universalist values, which now appear on the back of our order of service. I read them and we introduced our new friend, JetPig, which we are voting on names for now. Within those 6 values, justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, all surrounding the central value of love, there is a covenant, too. One that is bigger than our individual promises to one another, and bigger than Bucksmont UU Fellowship as one UU congregation in the world. If you lift out the covenantal promises from the rest of the text, you get something like this. As Unitarian Universalists, we are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression, use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities, collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically, learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning, protect Earth and all beings from exploitation, and to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Between our congregational covenant of right relations and this set of goals for what we are trying to accomplish as a movement, we have 2 concentric circles of promises for how to live our lives and what we are working towards. Our reading this morning shared a second bit of advice for important and intentional relationships, that the key elements to happiness in any relationship are always changing. This was part of why we went through a multi-year process at the national level to re-articulate our UU values, and this is why we change how we approach congregational life here at Bucksmont over time as well. The key elements to how to be in right relationship with one another change over time. What we need to center in our lives and in our communities changes over time too. This is a season of weighty decisions about what values we want to center as a country. Nationally, the presidential election has 2 very different visions about what America is and what it should be and for whom. The practicing of how to get along with those nearest to us, geographically, religiously, and politically, becomes the lesson we learn about how to widen the circle across greater and greater differences. If we became more adept at forming covenants between each other and honoring them to the same degree we do religious ones, society would look very different. We start with our most intimate relationships and go outward from there. But the circle doesn't stop at our doors or with the list of people currently a member of this community. Our Universalist heritage demands that we always seek to expand the circle of love wider until every person and every being is within the boundaries of that love. Our work, our practice here is to remember our promises, sometimes help remind each other of them, and to keep promising no matter what. So may it be.
Be ours a religion. Would you like sunshine? Can we start over again? Yeah. Be ours a religion which, like sunshine, goes everywhere. Its temple, all space, its shrine, the good heart, its creed, all truth, its ritual works of love.
Let us now enter into a time of awareness within ourselves and connection beyond boundaries, connection to one another, to that interdependent web of life of which we are each but one small thread. As we breathe in, we are connected. As we breathe out, we are connected. We center our attention this morning with words adapted from Sam Trumbore. I invite you now into a time of gratitude, reflection, renewal, and hope. What an unearned blessing to delight in the calming peace of this space, to hear the robin psalm again at daybreak, to feel the warmth in this room, and to enjoy the promise of autumn unfolding around us. Each moment of wakefulness has so many gifts that offer energy and delight. Yet too often they seem unavailable as the weight of our troubles press down on us. The threats to our well-being, real or exaggerated, feel like mosquitoes in the night, looking for a place to land. Minds become captive to rising floodwaters, forceful, murky, threatening, and ominous. Even in moments of great danger, the direction of attention is a choice. Fear can dominate the mind, binding it like a straitjacket, or love can unbind it and open it to resource and opportunity. The soil of the mind can be watered with kindness. The thorns can be removed one by one to appreciate the buds ready to flower. Great possibilities await us, even if all we can see is the cliff before us. The grandeur of life, of which we are a part, scatters rainbows in every direction, even as the deluge approaches. Holding reality and possibility together is the holy, hope-filled work of humanity. If we choose it again and again in love. As we breathe in, we are connected. As we breathe out, we are connected. May our minds create a vision of the world, radical enough to be called holy. May our actions contain the promise of hope and the commitment to justice. May our hearts remember that love is a power that resists all forms of fear. By our thoughts, by our actions, by our hearts, and by our very breath, may it be so.
Please rise, excuse me. Please rise in body or spirit to sing our next hymn, number 1012, When I Am Frightened. When I am frightened, will you reassure me? When I'm uncertain, will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me? Sing to me quietly. Will you share some of your stories with me? If you will show me compassion, then I may learn to care as you do. Then I may learn to care. When I am angry, will you still embrace me? When I am thoughtless, will you understand? Will you believe in me? Stand by me willingly. Will you share some of your questions with me? If you will show me acceptance, then I may learn to give as you do. Then I may learn to give. When I'm in trouble, will you listen to me? When I am lonely, will you be my friend? Will you be there for me? Comfort me tenderly. Will you share some of your feelings with me? If you will show me commitment, then I may learn to love as you do. Then I may learn to love.
As part of our caring outreach to one another, we set aside a few moments to note both the sorrows and the joys in our lives. In these moments of peace and reflection, we turn our attention to one another. We hold each and all in our compassionate thoughts and the prayers of our hearts. This morning, we are lighting candles to mark the important moments in our lives. Each candle adds to the collective light of this community, a place that also holds the memories of those who have gone before and anticipates those who have yet to arrive. To share the joy or sorrow you would like held by our caring community, text the number that is now on screen. Please include your name along with your sharing. It is the same number no matter how you join us today, and you can add it to your contacts for future weeks. I will read them aloud, and Tracy will light a candle on your behalf. What is shared today will go out in our weekly caring notes for those who cannot be with us this morning. Please remember to include your first and last name with what you share. And now we will light a final candle for all of the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken and deep within our hearts. With words spoken and candles lit, we honor our joys and our sorrows, those shared this morning and the many, many more that exist beyond words. Through our time together, our relationships are deepened and our community made whole.
Please rise in body or spirit to sing our last hymn, number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place. When we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, when our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place. When we carry solely from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place. When we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our hearts open, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy faith. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place.
Our chalice extinguishing words this morning are from Emily Richards. May you leave this time together changed. May the promises you have made to yourself about who you want to be feel closer to the reality of who you are right now. May you share that feeling of transformation wherever you go. May it spread into every word, deed, thought, and interaction, until we are all changed, transformed, and transforming together, becoming our better selves.
As our community departs from this service, may we remember all who came before. May we imagine all who will come after. May we honor all who are present with us here and now. In our time together, we create this community, one of promise, one of commitment, one of practice. In our time together, may each of us become a sanctuary for all we meet on the journey. May we go together now and return again.